When people think of Texas, they picture wide open skies, booming cities, cowboy culture, and plenty of barbecue. Real estate agents sell you on affordable housing compared to California. Magazines highlight Austin's tech scene, Dallas's skyline, and Houston's international energy hub. Retirees imagine low taxes, young families imagine suburban bliss, and dreamers imagine a fresh start under the Lone Star flag. But not every corner of Texas fits the brochure. Some towns hide behind the glow of state pride, while quietly wrestling with sky-high crime rates, economic stagnation, and schools that leave families frustrated. Some cities are weighed down by failing infrastructure, shrinking job markets, or the kinds of reputations that stick to you the moment you tell people where you live. This isn't a travel guide designed to pump up Texas tourism. Think of it as a reality check, a survival map. If you're planning to move to Texas, or you're just curious about which towns don't live up to the hype, stay with me. We're counting down 21 Texas towns you should never move to. The worst places to live in Texas right now. So grab your boots, keep your expectations in check, and let's peel back the glossy postcard to see what's really underneath. Number 21. Amarillo. Amarillo might conjure images of Route 66, nostalgia, roadside diners, and the famous Cadillac Ranch art installation. But once the neon fades, daily life here is much tougher than the road trip fantasy. Crime. Amarillo's crime rate consistently hovers above the national average. Property crime is especially high, with car break-ins and thefts turning into everyday concerns. Violent incidents, while not topping the charts, are still unsettling in a city of around 200,000. Economy. Heavily tied to agriculture and meatpacking, Amarillo's job market is notoriously limited. Wages tend to lag behind the rest of the state, and automation has been quietly eroding opportunities. Unless you're in healthcare or education, the ladder of advancement feels short. Schools and infrastructure. Amarillo schools face challenges in funding and achievement, especially in lower-income neighborhoods. Roads and public works feel outdated, and while the Panhandle sunsets are gorgeous, long winters and isolation from Texas's booming metros remind you daily how far removed Amarillo really is. Would you choose wide-open skies if it came with rising crime and limited opportunity? That's Amarillo's dilemma. Number 20. Galveston. Galveston is often painted as a beach paradise. Historic architecture, a lively pier, and proximity to Houston. But scratch the surface and reality sets in quickly. Natural risks. Hurricanes batter the Gulf Coast regularly, and Galveston takes the hit head-on. Flooding, property damage, and sky-high insurance premiums make homeownership a gamble. Saltwater corrosion turns maintenance into a part-time job. Crime and economy. Crime rates, particularly property crime, stay stubbornly high. Theft, burglary, and tourist-targeted crime erode the sense of safety. Economically, the city leans on seasonal tourism, creating boom and bust cycles that leave residents scrambling when the beachgoers vanish. Schools and services. Public schools struggle under inconsistent funding, and the city's infrastructure feels constantly one storm away from collapse. Galveston asks one simple question: how much are you willing to risk for a life by the ocean? Number 19. Odessa. Odessa is an oil town, and that's both its blessing and curse. Boom and bust. When oil prices are high, Odessa buzzes with jobs and cash. But when the market tanks, the local economy crumbles, leaving unemployment spikes and small businesses shuttered. Families are left wondering whether to ride it out or move on. Crime and social challenges. Odessa's crime rates stay above the national average. Violent crime in particular raises eyebrows, and the city's boomtown culture fosters transient populations that make community stability tough. Addiction and substance abuse issues are another shadow side of the oil economy. Quality of life. Schools are hit or miss, healthcare is stretched, and housing fluctuates wildly in price depending on the oil cycle. Residents often joke that in Odessa, you're either working non-stop or waiting for work to come back. If you're thinking about moving here, ask yourself, are you ready to tie your entire future to the global price of crude oil? Number 18. Corpus Christi. On postcards, Corpus Christi looks like a Gulf Coast gem. Breezy beaches, fishing piers, and palm-lined drives. In reality, life here takes a toll. Weather. Hurricanes, tropical storms, and constant coastal flooding batter the city. Insurance premiums skyrocket, and salty air quietly corrodes everything you own, from your car to your roof. Crime. The city posts crime rates higher than state and national averages. Property crime is a persistent thorn, with package theft, break-ins, and car burglaries commonplace. Violent incidents aren't rare either, making many neighborhoods uneasy after dark. Economy and schools. While Corpus Christi has refineries, shipping, and hospitality, wages trail behind the cost of living. Schools vary widely, but many underfunded districts leave families disappointed. Healthcare access is decent but strained, particularly when major storms displace thousands. Corpus Christi tempts with sunsets and seafood, but the trade-off is constant vigilance against storms, crime, and an economy that never feels secure. Number 17. Waco. Waco has fought hard to rebrand itself after its infamous history, and it's gained a reputation for charm thanks to TV shows and small-town marketing. But the challenges run deep. Crime and perception. Despite improvements, crime remains a serious concern. Property crime especially eats away at livability. While Waco tries to sell family-friendly charm, locals know some neighborhoods are anything but. Economy. Job growth has been slow. The city has Baylor University, which pumps money into certain districts, but many residents still struggle with low wages and few opportunities beyond retail and service work. Schools and inequality. Public schools remain inconsistent. Some districts benefit from university influence, but many are underfunded. Inequality is stark. One street feels revitalized. The next looks abandoned. Waco proves that no amount of glossy marketing can fully erase a city's deeper struggles. Number 16. Snyder. Snyder out in West Texas is small, but not without problems. The economy of Snyder leans heavily on oil and gas, and like Odessa, its fate rises and falls with energy markets. When the industry slows, so does everything else. Jobs dry up, young people leave, and the town shrinks. For a small population, Snyder posts unsettling crime rates. Property crime and occasional violent incidents carry more weight here because everyone feels the impact. Public services are limited, and opportunities for entertainment, culture, or advancement are scarce. Schools face the typical small-town challenge: underfunding and fewer programs, leaving families frustrated or looking to move elsewhere. Snyder's biggest challenge isn't just crime or jobs. It's the creeping sense of stagnation. Many who move here eventually ask themselves, is this all there is? Number 15. Midland. Midland, Odessa's partner in the Permian Basin, feels like the Twin Cities stuck in the same oil roller coaster. When oil is booming, Midland's housing market explodes. Rents skyrocket. Grocery stores overflow, and every diner is packed with oil-field workers. But when crude prices dip, the city empties almost overnight. Businesses close, layoffs hit hard, and for rent signs pop up like weeds. Quality of life. Midland isn't known for amenities. Outside the oil industry, entertainment is thin. Shopping and dining options are limited, and young professionals often leave chasing culture in Dallas or Austin. What's left is a city that feels transactional. Come here for the paycheck, not for the lifestyle. Crime, especially property crime, spikes during downturns when unemployment rises. Schools are stretched thin, cycling through funding struggles tied to the unstable economy. Families find themselves caught in the same boom-bust loop. Midland forces a tough question. Are you ready to build your life around a city that only thrives when oil does? Number 14. Lubbock. Lubbock is home to Texas Tech University, which gives it a veneer of youthful energy. But look closer, and the problems become clear. For a mid-sized city of about 250,000, Lubbock's violent crime rate is well above national averages. Property crime, especially theft and burglary, remains a constant issue. Beyond the university, opportunities are limited. Agriculture and healthcare anchor the local job market, but wages lag. Many graduates leave right after finishing school, draining talent from the region. The city has a reputation for conservative social norms that don't always align with the younger, more diverse student population. That tension leaves Lubbock feeling divided. The quality of life in this city, dust storms, isolation from major metros, and limited amenities create a sense of being cut off. The flat, dry landscape doesn't help either. Lubbock might be fine for a college stint, but for long-term living, many find themselves eager to move on. Number 13. Texarkana. Straddling the Texas-Arkansas border, Texarkana is literally half in one state, half in another. But the problems here don't respect state lines. Texarkana's crime rates remain stubbornly high, both violent and property-related. The city struggles with gang activity and drug trafficking, partly due to its location as a transport hub. The split identity hurts more than it helps. Industry is limited, wages are low, and economic growth is sluggish. Many residents commute or simply leave in search of better opportunities. Education outcomes trail the state average, and infrastructure lags decades behind. Roads, utilities, and public services all feel neglected. Texarkana carries a reputation as a place you pass through, not a place you settle down. And for good reason. The sense of stagnation makes it hard to imagine building a future here. Would you stake your future on a city even its residents joke about escaping? Number 12. San Angelo. San Angelo sits in West Texas with a proud ranching and military tradition. But pride alone doesn't fix its challenges. Goodfellow Air Force Base anchors the city, along with agriculture and healthcare. But outside those pillars, jobs are scarce. Wages lag, and younger workers often leave for bigger cities. For its size, San Angelo posts unsettling crime rates. Property crime especially eats away at quality of life. Meanwhile, economic inequality is visible. Comfortable neighborhoods sit next to struggling ones with little middle ground. Schools are mixed, and public services struggle to keep up with demand. Healthcare is adequate but limited in specialization, meaning serious conditions often require long travel. While some residents love the small-town meets city vibe, many find the isolation stifling. San Angelo often feels like a city that peaked decades ago and never fully caught up now. The question becomes, is loyalty to tradition enough to outweigh the lack of opportunity? For many, the answer is no. Number 11. Brownsville. Down near the southern tip of Texas, Brownsville carries both cultural richness and deep challenges. Despite being part of a border region with massive trade potential, wages remain shockingly low. Brownsville's median household income sits well below the Texas average. Poverty rates are among the highest in the state. While violent crime isn't the worst in Texas, property crime and smuggling-related issues create a constant sense of insecurity. Being a border town brings unique challenges that many newcomers underestimate. Education outcomes consistently fall near the bottom of state rankings. Limited resources and high poverty create conditions where academic success is hard-won. Families often look for alternatives if they can afford them. The cost of living is lower than many Texas cities, but so are wages. Infrastructure lags, and public services stretch thin. While the cultural blend of Mexican and American traditions creates vibrancy, the economic struggles weigh heavily on daily life. Brownsville forces a tough choice. Do you trade low living costs for limited opportunity? Or do you keep driving north in search of something more sustainable? Number 10. Killeen. Killeen is known primarily for Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood, one of the largest military installations in the world. That presence defines the city, for better and for worse. The transient population, with thousands of soldiers cycling in and out, Killeen struggles to maintain stability. Businesses open and close with military schedules. Neighborhoods shift constantly, and building long-term community feels nearly impossible. Killeen's crime rates are well above average, particularly violent crime. Assaults, robberies, and property thefts are frequent, fueled in part by the city's transient population and economic instability. Beyond military-related jobs, economic opportunity is limited. Retail and service work dominate, with wages lagging behind. Many families find themselves barely keeping up with the rising cost of living. Public schools are inconsistent, often strained by overcrowding and limited resources. Public services also buckle under the population churn. Killeen leaves you wondering, is a city built around constant turnover ever going to offer real stability? Number 9. Huntsville. At first glance, Huntsville looks like a charming college town, home to Sam Houston State University. But dig deeper, and the reality is far less appealing. Huntsville is also known as the prison city of Texas. It houses the Texas Department of Criminal Justice headquarters and multiple prison units. That reputation overshadows everything else. Ask anyone in Texas what comes to mind with Huntsville, and prisons usually come up first. With a large incarcerated population and related industries, Huntsville's crime rates and social dynamics carry a darker undertone. While the violent crime rate isn't the highest in the state, the city's identity makes it a tough sell for families or professionals looking to settle. Outside of prisons and the university, job opportunities are thin. Schools are inconsistent, with resources stretched. While the university offers some vibrancy, much of the city feels weighed down by its correctional reputation. Huntsville forces a simple reflection. Do you really want your hometown forever linked with incarceration? Number 8. El Paso. El Paso has culture, history, and proximity to Mexico. But it also has a long list of struggles that keep it on countdowns like this. Wages in El Paso are significantly lower than the state average. Despite being a major border city, economic opportunities lag, and many households live paycheck to paycheck. While violent crime rates fluctuate, property crime remains a persistent issue. Car break-ins, burglaries, and theft keep residents on edge. Public education outcomes trail much of Texas, particularly in lower-income districts. Economic inequality is visible, with wealthier pockets sitting beside neighborhoods that struggle with poverty and underfunded services. El Paso is geographically isolated, far from Texas's major metros. While it offers cultural richness, many newcomers find themselves cut off from broader opportunities. El Paso might hold historic charm, but the trade-offs in wages, crime, and isolation leave many asking, is it worth it? Number 7. Beaumont. Beaumont sits on the Gulf Coast with a proud oil and port history. But today, its challenges overshadow its heritage. Beaumont consistently ranks among the most dangerous cities in Texas for violent crime. Assaults, robberies, and homicides push its crime rates far above national averages. Once a booming oil hub, Beaumont has stagnated. Jobs remain, but wages trail, and economic growth lags behind the rest of Texas. Poverty rates are higher than average, creating cycles that are hard to break. Beaumont suffers repeated hurricane damage. Flooding devastates neighborhoods, and infrastructure never fully recovers before the next storm arrives. Insurance is costly, and rebuilding feels endless. Schools struggle, and the city's reputation deters newcomers. For many Texans, Beaumont is shorthand for rough city with limited opportunity. Would you stake your family's future in a city where crime and natural disasters constantly compete to see which can cause more damage? Number 6. Dallas. This one surprises people. Dallas, a booming metro with skyscrapers, culture, and pro sports, often makes best places lists. But beneath the gloss, daily life for many residents is rough. Dallas has some of the highest violent crime rates among major U.S. cities. Certain neighborhoods face homicide rates that rival national hotspots. Property crime is also rampant. Car break-ins, thefts, and burglaries make lock it or lose it a city mantra. Dallas is a city of extremes. Tech workers and executives thrive in wealthy enclaves, while other neighborhoods wrestle with poverty, crime, and unemployment. The income gap is massive and visible. Public education quality swings wildly by district and even neighborhood. Some schools are excellent, while others consistently underperform. Families with means often flee to suburbs like Plano or Frisco, leaving Dallas proper with concentrated challenges. Traffic congestion is notorious, and infrastructure hasn't kept up with growth. Public transit is limited, forcing most residents to drive everywhere. Dallas shines from a distance, but for many who live there, the reality is harsher. High crime, deep inequality, and daily struggles beneath the skyline. Number 5. Houston. Yes, Houston, Texas's largest city, a global hub for energy, healthcare, and culture, still lands on this list. And not without reason. Houston consistently posts some of the highest crime rates in the state. Violent crime, from assaults to homicides, makes headlines regularly. Property crime is even more rampant. Car break-ins, burglaries, and thefts feel like a way of life in many neighborhoods. Hurricanes, tropical storms, and constant flooding batter the city. Drainage systems collapse under heavy rain, leaving freeways submerged and homes damaged. Add in oppressive humidity and mosquitoes the size of small birds, and the climate feels punishing. Houston offers jobs, yes, but also staggering inequality. Wealthy neighborhoods flaunt mansions and gated communities, while others struggle with poverty, food insecurity, and failing infrastructure. The gap is jarring. Roads buckle under traffic, potholes multiply, and public transit barely scratches the surface of a metro this size. Schools range from elite to deeply underperforming, often depending on zip code. Houston is a city of extremes, opportunity colliding with chaos. The question is, do you want to gamble your future on a place where the highs are sky high, but the lows can drag you under? Number 4. Victoria. Victoria, nicknamed the Crossroads, sits between Houston, San Antonio, and Corpus Christi. But instead of thriving as a central hub, it's weighed down by its own challenges. Violent crime rates in Victoria are unsettlingly high for a city of under 70,000. Assaults, robberies, and burglaries dominate headlines. Residents talk openly about neighborhoods where you simply don't go after dark. Once an industrial and ranching hub, Victoria now struggles with sluggish growth. Wages remain low, poverty rates are high, and job opportunities are limited. Young people leave, and the city feels hollowed out. Schools are inconsistent, infrastructure feels dated, and healthcare options are limited compared to larger Texas cities. Add in occasional hurricane damage and flooding, and stability feels hard to come by. Victoria proves that being at the crossroads doesn't always mean opportunity. Sometimes, it just means being stuck in the middle of nowhere. Number 3. Mesquite. Located just east of Dallas, Mesquite suffers from being close enough to the metro to feel the problems but not close enough to reap the benefits. Property crime in Mesquite is notorious. Car thefts, burglaries, and vandalism keep residents constantly on guard. Violent crime isn't as high as in Dallas proper, but it's still above the national average. Wages lag behind, and schools rank poorly compared to surrounding suburbs. Families often move out as soon as they can afford to, chasing better education and safety in nearby towns like Rockwall. Mesquite has long carried a reputation for being rougher than its neighbors. The mall and commercial centers attract crime, while residential areas feel neglected. Mesquite raises a hard truth. Sometimes being a suburb doesn't mean safer or better. It just means more forgotten. Number 2. San Antonio. San Antonio is beloved for its history, culture, and the Riverwalk. But behind the Alamo's shine lies a city struggling with deep problems. San Antonio has one of the highest violent crime rates in Texas. Assaults, robberies, and shootings are far too common. Property crime is rampant, with residents weary of constant theft and break-ins. Wages are lower than in other major Texas cities, and poverty is widespread. Many neighborhoods feel left behind, while wealthier districts show off a very different San Antonio. Public schools are inconsistent at best. Infrastructure strains under rapid growth, and traffic congestion worsens each year. Tourists see charm and history. Residents often see inequality, safety concerns, and limited upward mobility. San Antonio asks you, do you want to live where the postcard image is stunning, but the daily grind is filled with challenges? Number 1. Lufkin. And here it is, the crown jewel of Texas towns you should think twice about moving to. Lufkin. For a smaller city of around 35,000, Lufkin boasts shockingly high crime rates. Violent incidents, including assaults and robberies, are far above the national average. Property crime is rampant, leaving residents constantly checking locks and security cameras. Lufkin was once anchored by timber and manufacturing, but those industries have declined. Today, the job market is thin, wages lag badly, and poverty rates remain stubbornly high. For many residents, upward mobility feels out of reach. Schools struggle with underfunding and low performance scores. Public services, from infrastructure to healthcare, lag behind. Families find limited resources for children, education, or career development. Combine high crime, limited jobs, and struggling schools, and you've got a city where hope feels scarce. While the surrounding piney woods offer natural beauty, life inside Lufkin often feels like fighting uphill without ever reaching the top. Lufkin may be small, but its problems loom large, making it the number 1 Texas town to think twice about before moving to. The Texas Reality Check, and there you have it. 21 towns in Texas you should never move to. From crime-ridden big cities to small towns weighed down by poverty and stagnation, These places prove that not every corner of the Lone Star State matches the dream painted in brochures. Texas has opportunity, beauty, and pride, but it also has inequality, struggling schools, and towns where daily life feels more like survival than prosperity. So, what do you think? Did any of these towns surprise you? Do you agree with this list? Or do you think another Texas town deserves a spot in the top 21? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. If you found this countdown eye-opening, share it with anyone thinking of moving to Texas. Trust me, they'll thank you later. Until next time, travel smart, choose wisely, and remember, not all that glitters in Texas is gold.